When I won the Olympics in 2012, it was awesome, right? It was a super fun time. It was really exciting. I had more followers than I ever had, more money than I ever had, and I was more recognizable than I had ever been in my entire career. 2012 was an awesome time. I got invited to an FCA camp. So you guys who don't know what FCA is, it's the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And it was a 24-hour lock-in. And so basically they spent 24 hours in the wrestling room. They went overnight, had a sleepover in the wrestling room, and just practiced all night long. It was pretty cool. And so after the Olympics, you go through this whirlwind of a media tour. You go and sign autographs, you do shows, you take pictures, you do all these events and clinics, tell everyone about it, show your medal to everyone. It was really special. But then afterwards, it starts to wear off. And so there was one day where after that camp, I'm sitting in my room and I have my medal on my shelf, and no one asked to see it anymore. People weren't as interested. I remember the medal just sitting on my shelf, and I was like, man, what now? And so I had everything I ever wanted, and I still was unhappy, and I still felt an emptiness in who I was and what my purpose was. I'm like, man, I achieved everything that I set out to do. I reached the pinnacle of success in wrestling. I've done absolutely everything there is to do in the sport. I've been a state champ, national champ, world champ, Olympic champion, and still I feel empty. And so at that FCA camp, I had a moment to experience what it was like to see young men and women just arms raised and surrender and talking about their faith in Jesus and hearing the story of who he was and what he meant to them and how fulfilled and passionate they were. And so for me, shortly after the Olympics and feeling this emptiness, I'm like, man, I sure would like to know what that feels like. I want to know what that experience is like. And so the foundation, the bloodline of everything I do now is rooted in the things that I've learned from wrestling, but also the things that I've learned in my faith. And so I hope for you guys that you can see my career and my life and look at it as something that's attainable for all of you guys based on the things that you'll learn from this sport, but also the decision that you'll make in who you follow, who you allow yourself to be led by, the people you surround yourself with, and how much dedication you're willing to make to your craft. And so today's going to be a really fun day. I think one thing that I turn over to you, Mark. Sorry, bro. One thing that I want to share with you guys before we go and before we get started, because once we get started, we're rolling. We're rolling. The stage is going to be rolling. Let's try to keep everyone safe today. All right? Let's make it out of here safely. Let's have a lot of fun. And let's express our heart of gratitude. Before every practice finishes up at our wrestling club, we make sure that you thank 3 people. All of our kids have to thank 3 people. 1, they thank their parents. Parents are investing resources to make sure that you're there, to make sure you're on time, to make sure you're fed, energized, and ready to go. 2, you thank your coaches. Those are the people that are pushing you, kicking you in the butt, teaching you technique, making sure that you're on point and getting better at developing at wrestling. And then 3rd and last is your training partners. We always express thankfulness and gratitude for our training partners because those are the guys that are going to help us get better. You're only as good as the person that you have across from you. So let's try to elevate one another. Let's express a heart of gratitude. Let's be respectful. Let's maximize our effort. And let's try to get more than just wrestling from me today. You guys got it? All right.